Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of Real Raw Health today. It is a pivotal point. It's going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about boosting our immune systems. And it can't be more important than everything that's going on today in our world. So my name is Matt Rowe. I'm with Parsley Pet, and I have the pleasure of co-hosting with Nikki Burnett of Taste Life Nutrition. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Nikki Burnett here. As Matt said, Taste Life Nutrition. I'm a functional nutritionist. Work with humans, but I also work with dogs. I actually just went to my dentist appointment, believe it or not, and he had a new puppy, and he's telling me what he's feeding his dog. And I told him, like, you need to feed raw. I'm doing a Facebook Live in a little while. You need to feed raw. He's like, I'm scared. He's like, don't be afraid. Let me show you how. So it was really a fun conversation because he's got an older dog who's 16, and then he's got this 4-month-old puppy, and I'm just like jonesing. I'm like, just let me help you. Come on, help you. So,
let me take over. I got this.
Yeah. So really fun. And I want to also, if you're hearing an echo anyway, I'm in Dallas. I'm not in Colorado, and I'm with my great friends. We were supposed to see Chris Stapleton on Saturday with Willie Nelson. Not happening.
Yeah.
Bummed. So anyway, but still we're here to hang out with some old friends. And so I'm at their place. So if there are weird things happening and going on, it's not my space. And we just take it as.
But, and that makes a point. So they canceled this concert because they're so afraid of this virus being contracted by others and it really just spreading. We all know this. I think if you aren't underneath a rock right now, you've heard this so many times that you just are tired of hearing about the coronavirus and everything else that goes with it. So what we wanted to have our show about today was boosting your immune system. What can you do to combat this virus that's all around? Because there are no drugs for viruses. It's not like I go down the corner store, take a drug. If you take an antibiotic, that fights bacteria. And so really with that virus, it's kind of like we have to leave our own bodies up to fighting this. And so by boosting our immune systems up, that's how we fight it. So Nikki, being a functional nutritionist, how do you boost an immune system?
Well, I think there are some foods, some things that have antiviral properties. So there's a component in coconut called monolaurin that is antiviral. Now, how strong is it? That's hard to say. Olive leaf is antiviral, oregano, and I think rosemary. Those are all antiviral, but those things aren't studied, right? So that's all natural health. Study natural health because we don't get paid for natural health. We only get paid for drugs. So, they have antiviral properties. There are essential oils that have antiviral properties. We just don't really know exactly what that means, exactly what it looks like. But I'll tell you, I'm working with clients because I can see, there are clients who have viruses that come in, and there are things that we can do, to include some of these supplements and besides the food. I'll get to that in a second. But to at least help the body, give it more of the ability to fight it. The more we can do, help the body out, the better it's going to be. And so as far as food's concerned, what makes the most sense, really, it's an anti-inflammatory diet. And as much as I hate the word diet, it's really, okay, I'm going to back up. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. It's an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And so it's, how many times have we heard me say this? Lots and lots of vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
because vegetables have fiber and flavonoids and everything in there that supports our immune system. And really, we're looking at support. So when we actually eat, and we were talking about this before the show, when we have processed diet. So when we make the choice, we don't have time, I'm going to swing by the healthiest fast food restaurant I can find and eat that. Well, what's happening is when we ingest that, let's just take gluten, for example, that's in our food stream today. When we ingest it, our body gets inflamed, and guess what happens? Our immune system fights that inflammation. And so now if we have a virus that we're trying to defend against, or if we have a virus that have come into our system, by eating gluten, we're just making we're just making it work so much harder than it needs to be.
It's true. It's true. The body can only fight so much. And so it's going to focus on those things that are the biggest problems, right? And so all of these things is going to be like, well, let's see. I can't really regulate your blood pressure very well right now. So your blood pressure is going to go up. Or maybe you have a lot of people carry the herpes virus. And so when our immune system goes down and it's fighting something else, then that herpes virus is going to flare, right? It's just kind of, it's part of the immune system can only do so much. If it's fighting a bacterial infection, it's going to focus on that because it's got to be able to get rid of these things and it's not able to do the other stuff. We have to give it what it needs in order for it to be able to do its job. And then I would say, first, we're talking about humans right now, but this is absolutely goes along the lines of dogs as well. Dogs get viruses. Dogs need an anti-inflammatory, healthy diet for all of the same reasons. So I want to make sure that we're clear about that. Had a point. I just forgot it.
No, that's okay. That's right. I'm going to just talk randomly. So then if it comes back, just stop me, Nikki. No, you talked about that with our dogs. Yeah, our dogs can actually contract a virus. They're a biological creature. And so, they are subject to some of those viral loads that come to us. So with everything going on, your dog can get it. They've shown reports of dogs in China that are actually contracting COVID-19. So,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there was one, and they put out a terrible report, and you do not have to do this. Do not do this. Put your dog down. And that's it. So the dog does not spread the disease. They were recommending in China to put the dog down. Do not do that. You don't have to. Your dog is not going to spread it any worse than what you're going to spread it. If your dog has it, I guarantee you've probably got it.
Keep it in the house and have it together while you fight it.
If we're feeding kibble to our dogs, that is a processed diet. And now our dog is fighting that inflammatory response inside its body. So for example, if it's eating grain, that our dog, and if you watch, last week's show, we talked about grain, and your dog does not need it. Actually, I had a show with Dr. Judy Jasek on Tuesday, and we talked about grain. And really, your dog does not need grain in its diet. It doesn't go fight for an ear of corn. It fights for the rabbit that just got killed. So really, when you're looking at that, anything you can do to eliminate any type of inflammatory response in the dog. So another inflammatory response is stress. So when we have a stress load, our body inflames up. Our body is a wonderful, beautiful machine that always wants to keep you healthy. But if we're putting things in it that are poisonous, essentially what your body thinks is poison, that's your body's just going to fight it.
Yeah. So it's this, and we've talked about this before. One of these days, I'm going to remember to show this printout. But it's these circles that go back and forth to each other. So it's inflammation and stress and disease, and then I think it's for humans. So then I think autoimmunity, and so the arrows go back to everything. So all it is this vicious cycle. So stress creates inflammation. Inflammation creates stress. Disease creates stress. Inflammation creates more disease. On and on and on. And so, it's going to be, it's a problem for us. It's a problem for our dogs. The foods we eat can create inflammation, can create stress for our dogs. And any of us who are under stress, then what happens is stress shrinks the brain. So then we start losing our cognitive abilities, and all of these things start to happen. I was talking to my dentist today. He says, he's so old, I'm afraid of feeding him raw food. It's like, well, let's think about maybe how much better he could live for however long he left eating raw food. He's like, okay, maybe, and so I'm kind of trying to get him on board. He's like, he's so old, I can't change. I'm like, he's so old, you have to change. This is what is going to help him feel good and live out whatever days, hopefully years, that he has left. So let's take that stress and that inflammation away from the body by stopping the kibble, feeding the raw diet, and giving his body what he needs in order to fight disease, aging, all of the things that we all deal with. This is what food is. And we've talked about this. And I say it all the time, this is one of my favorite things, so I will continue to, but food is communication. So food is, we eat it and we love it, and some of us love it and some of us hate it because we have this terrible relationship with food. But if we look at it as communication, we look at it as food is telling our body what to do. And if we're eating good, healthy, clean, real food, then we have this really amazing, clean line of communication. And our body's like, I got it. I know what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're eating kibble, hopefully we're not eating kibble, but if our dogs are eating kibble, if we're eating McDonald's, or if we're eating all of these processed foods, then there's a broken, unclean line of communication, and the body gets confused and just kind of, it stops essentially over time. It can continue for a while, but obviously as we age, we start to break down. Why are we breaking down? Because our body's not communicating the way that it should for multiple reasons, environmental factors, toxins, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, it ends up creating what's called the cell danger response. And it's the cell danger response that is it's our body talking to us. It's the cells are sending out signals going, something's up. So those signals might be pain, joint pain, foggy brain. For dogs, when you start to see the foggy eyeballs, what is it called?
Yeah, with Mr. Chacha's got it. It's
sorry.
Every doctor that's listening right now is shaking their head. They're like, you guys, come on.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah. Anyway,
I'll remember it tonight at like 2 a.m. I'll give you a call. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, anyway, everybody knows what we're talking about. Foggy eyeballs. Not a good thing because you can't see. So
I like that. I want to call it that from now on.
It's better. It's not so clinical, right? It's good.
Yeah.
So what I believe a lot of the data is saying now is that foggy eyeballs is due to lack of antioxidants. And so bring in these antioxidants, the body has the ability to fight foggy eyeballs, all of the other symptoms that we deal with. And we blame it on, genetics and age, and, it's just the way that it is. And there's nothing that I can do about it when it's absolutely not true.
Right. And some of the best areas of antioxidants is fruit. So upping your fruit intake and in this moment in time right now and for the rest of your lives, because you're going to change your habits on nutrition. And so for the rest of your lives, you're going to sit there and take a look at is how can I help my body protect itself? So if you have aging parents, if you're really concerned and worried about the virus that's going around right now, protect yourself. You have 2 roads you can walk down. You can sit and worry, and that worry may lead you to having a piece of pizza or eating pizza or ordering pizza because you just don't feel like cooking. And that worry just starts to cascade down this road of just making decisions that are different. Or you can say, you know what? I am going to protect myself as much as I can, and I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables. And as a result, by eating those fruits and vegetables and boosting your immune system, you're going to start making different choices because you identify yourself as somebody that is healthy and somebody that is going to kick this virus in the butt, and you're going to win.
Yeah. So I want to make a couple of quick comments on that because yes, you're absolutely right. But what I want to say is vegetables are the most important. Fruit is and can be important. And one of the reasons I want to say that is because vegetables are just key. We have to have lots of vegetables.
Yeah.
Some people dealing with blood sugar issues, things that are going on, need to be really careful with fruit. So a lower intake of fruit. I also want to say that the citrus fruits with good natural high amounts of vitamin C is a really good thing to eat right now. And if you're sick with anything, to get natural vitamin C as opposed to, just taking a supplement. And one of the things that I want to put out there too, and I don't know if this is with everything, if it's just with lemon, I've only done it with lemon, really interesting that, we talk about drinking lemon water in the morning and it boosts the immune system and liver detoxification. And it's really played a lot bigger than what it actually is. But what people do is they take that lemon and they squeeze it in water. What we need to do is take a whole lemon, the rind, everything, put it in water, not hot water. Hot water destroys nutrients, it destroys vitamins. Put it in water and put it like in a blender or a Vitamix or whatever you might have, and eat the whole lemon. I mean, you might want to do half a lemon a day, whatever it is that you can do, but eat the entire lemon, because what's in the rind is really, really important to you, and we're throwing that away. Cool.
And that's why, eating organic as much as you can, because you are going to eat the rind, making sure it's clean, that there are no chemicals that have been spread on it, because the AKA that leads to another inflammatory response.
Yeah, that's a good point. And another point on top of that would be organic. It has to be organic because we can't wash pesticides and herbicides off. But people will say, well, I don't have to buy organic, I'll just wash it. Well, we can't just wash it, because those toxins are in the soil, taking up in the root system, and they're in every single cell of that fruit or vegetable. Or if it is a grain, whatever it is, it's in everything. And so we're eating all of that. It cannot be washed off. And so we have the EWG Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, which is a great resource for those of us who need to watch our budget and just need to focus on the things that are less toxic. That happens. I'm very aware of that. But have the understanding that they can't be washed off. And they, on top of being toxic and creating leaky gut, that's been proven, is that they're massive hormone disruptors. So hormone disruptors for us, hormone disruptors for our animals, and they can just really wreak havoc. One more point, and this will lead us into what I know we really need to get into, is if these pesticides kill bugs, what are they going to kill when we eat them? They're going to kill bugs, right? They're going to kill our good microbiome.
Our forgotten organ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's an important, and again, a segue into building our healthy microbiome, because our microbiome is 70% of our immunity, of our immune system.
Yep.
We have to have good, healthy bugs, and keep the bad bugs away, because they help us fight viruses, bacteria, parasites, and infection, disease, all of the things.
So for increasing your gut microbiome, and this is something that I personally had that issue with, is when I started to have all those strokes that were happening 25 to 30 a day. That's how I fixed it. That I actually went and repaired my gut microbiome, which allowed to feed my brain in the way that it needed to be fed. And it also started to boost my immune system up. And 30 days later, the TIAs went away. And so I was very fortunate that had happened, but it was very intentional as well. So when I did that, I used a lot of fermented vegetables. I used you can get the pills that improve the microbiome out of the pills. Yeah. And probiotics. Thank you so much. We are like a pair today. Yes, I had the pill that I took probiotics. I did probiotic drinks. And yes, you can say that a lot of it dies inside your stomach. Let's say even all of it does, but I really didn't care. It was really more of, I thought I was doing the best job possible. And then also what I did is I did prebiotics like jicama, that would then start to go create that internal soil inside my body and my colon. So then my gut microbiota could actually grow and increase and improve.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on taking a probiotic pill versus fermented vegetables?
So for one, I think it depends on how therapeutic we need to be. So for example, I have a client who has strep. So she has to be on an antibiotic. We were working with her with SIBO, which is essentially a dysbiosis. It's a acronym for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And so the fear is on an antibiotic, which is pretty necessary, unfortunately, for a strep. They have their place. But what could happen is then she's off the antibiotics, and she just flares, and it can get really ugly. And then other things can start to creep up as well. And so we need her on high dose therapeutic probiotics during antibiotic therapy. So there's one form called Saccharomyces boulardii. It's a type of yeast that can help, especially with women, but men too, can help keep yeast infections down. It's been proven to be beneficial while on antibiotic therapy. You take it away from the antibiotics. And then when we finish antibiotic therapy, we just hardcore hit with the fermented foods, the probiotics, all different kinds of strains that we can, so we can inundate her system with probiotics or with healthy bugs, so we don't have a flare. Another thing that we want to do in order to keep those guys around, I have so many thoughts right now. Like I need to keep them remember what I'm talking about. But eating a wide variety, very diverse plant-based diet, lifestyle. So lots of different vegetables, not just a couple, lots of different vegetables. So the more diverse your vegetables and your fruit, the more diverse your gut microbiome. And this is a good thing. This is what we want. This is protective. This is healthy. Root vegetables are really good they're really good prebiotics. So you said the jicama, onions, garlic, turnips, all of those things are really good prebiotics. One of the things that you said was that when we drink the probiotics or when we eat them as pills or whatever, that they die. Some of them may get through. Most probiotics are transient anyway, so they just pass through. There are some that colonize, but it's okay. There's also some, I don't know if it's true data yet, but there's the belief or the thought, and I believe data, but I just don't want to throw it out there and say it's fact, but that even dead bacteria do some good, just in a different way.
Okay.
So I've also heard, though, that all probiotics just die in the stomach. Well, there are lots of enteric-coated probiotics or types of probiotics, types of bugs that they pass through the acid and they can get through, and that's what they're there for. We've been eating fermented foods, and it's protected us for years and years and years. So there is definitely benefit to it. So for day to day, eating your good prebiotic foods and eating good probiotic fermented foods is really, really important.
Yep. And you can even take it to where, now let's talk about dog health. When you look at boosting your dog's immune system and helping your dog live that healthier life, they have I was going to say the same, but they don't. They have a similar gut microbiota within them, and we need to support that system. So if you talk to like Billy Oakham over at Answers Pet Food, he's talking about fermented vegetables and fermented diet, because they really want to boost that immune system. And I believe that as much as we forget about our gut microbiota being that forgotten organ, it's the forgotten organ inside of our dogs as well. So
absolutely.
A lot of what of that comes. Now, what are your thoughts on milk-based products like yogurt?
So for the most part, I'm not for it. So our conventional yogurt has been processed, it's been heated, it's been, whether it's kefir or yogurt or any of those things, and then they have to take that processed milk and then put the bugs in it, and some of them live, and they have to add a bunch of sugar and all of these things, right? So, and depending on your health status, what's going to happen? Well, it's a dead food. It's going to create more inflammation. Dairy, even if it's raw, for people who are chronically inflamed, have autoimmune conditions, they should never, ever have dairy. It is not their friend. If it's raw, the healthiest dairy in the world, they should not have it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it can go down that inflammatory pathway, and it will create more inflammation. Now, that said, my favorite things, which is not dairy, but it's a yogurt, is the coconut yogurt.
Okay.
So, and I'm gonna say only the one brand that I've seen that I like. If you know GT's, they have the kombucha. Do you know GT's? Okay. They have a yogurt, a coconut yogurt. It's the coolest thing. Have you had it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm going to buy it tonight.
Yeah, you should. Because it is, you can see that it's alive. It literally, it's a yogurt that fizzes, it will grow in the jar.
Mhm.
And it's the best. I was doing a presentation and and as I did it, I took the lids off and I think it had warmed up a bit and it started growing. I'm like, look at this. I think people thought it was gross. They're like, no, this is amazing.
Right.
That in any other or in most other types of yogurt, unless you're making it yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're up.
Oh, I've been talking a lot. But the only time that I think dairy may have a place is for people who can handle it, people who are not inflamed, they're healthy, and it's raw. Only raw dairy.
Yeah.
Which we can't get in a lot of places, but.
Right. And I highly agree with you. And so one thing I noticed through my autoimmune condition, dairy starts to create mucus inside my throat.
Yep.
And so one thing I noticed is when I was younger, I would get sick every other month. I would have a cold come in or strep throat, or I'd have something. As soon as I cut dairy out, that stopped.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It was really at that point that easy. So if you want to protect yourself during this time, cut dairy out of your diet. We're talking butter, we're talking milk, we're talking yogurts, we're talking all that stuff. Just cut it out of your diet. Give yourself a 2-week experiment. See if you feel better in all those places. Your body does not need dairy. It actually robs calcium from your bones. So when they play the whole calcium card, you need more calcium. It actually has a net effect where if the calcium you're taking in, it's actually requiring more calcium to process the dairy inside your system.
Do you think that's the case for raw as well?
Pardon?
So do you think that that's the case for raw as well?
I don't know enough about raw dairy, and just because you can't, it's hard to get here. So right. I don't have a cow in my backyard. So, but if you read Pharmacology by Dr. Daphne Miller, she talks about drinking raw milk and how she did not have an inflammatory response from drinking the raw milk. So I think it all depends on, and when she talks to the farmer, so she was at the farmer's house, and this is not a joke. So she was at the house, she was having dinner with the family, and they gave her a glass of milk. And she's like, I'm lactose intolerant. This is going to wreak havoc on me. I can't do it. And when she grabbed the glass, it was still warm from the udder.
That's amazing.
And literally, they milked the cow right before dinner so everybody could have a glass of milk at dinner time. And as the farmer explained it, he goes, this is what it does. And she goes, would you drink somebody else's raw milk? And he's like, hell no. I don't know what they feed that cow. So you're looking at so much of what our animals eat that promotes health. So with your pet, by feeding a raw diet, that's the way they should be eating. That's the way that their body wants to be fed. And so when we feed them the right way, it goes to support everything else in their body. A good, healthy gut microbiome, a good, healthy immune system. So let's review this. Let's flip this to the human side. We are omnivores. Vegetables, fruit, and a light amount of meat.
Yep.
And so that helps our immune system, and we are supporting it.
And good fat.
Put milk on that list. It's very simple.
Except, and so this is where I tend to be a little bit on the fence when it comes to raw dairy for some people. This is certainly not a blanket statement. But raw pasture-raised, 100% pasture-raised grass-fed butter is high in vitamin K2, which is really important for the immune system. And so there are, there are some things that I guess I'm probably not 100% on everything. I'm probably 99% on gluten, right? Gluten here is bad. If it's overseas, it's better and probably doable for a lot of people. With dairy, I think for some people, especially when it comes down to genetically how they're made, because we can look at that, for some people, I do think it's okay. But you have to really know, and you have to know your health status, and you gotta know yourself. And I'll tell you, for me, which is an interesting point, because I do very little dairy. I have the genetics to be able to handle dairy. I always thought I did well with dairy. I only do raw dairy if I do dairy that's pasture raised.
Mm-hmm.
I had a raw milk share and drank it, and I loved it for probably a year and decided I felt like I was overly mucousy. I cut it out, and I was overly mucousy. So my body didn't like it like I thought it would. So I'm kind of going back and forth, but what I try to do is I really try to be even keeled, and I really try to understand all the data and everything that I can, including the body, before I tell people yes or no, absolutely, that kind of thing. So you get where I'm coming from. Anyway, yeah. But for you, no dairy.
Yeah, but you talked about variety in the diet too. So variety of fruits, variety of vegetables, variety of everything that we consume inside our diets, but your dog is the same way. It's variety. If we're feeding the same kibble every day in, day out, we're really just causing inflammatory response and leading to negative health effects. They're going to lead to you going into the vet, talking about itching, talking about the fact that your dog has renal failure or has something else. Really, you're taking a look at a diet that has very limited variety to it, and it's highly processed. So take a chapter from this on your own health and really take a look at how you can support yourself during this time. Because nobody wants to go through what's going around right now. But I know with everything that you do, that by fighting for yourself and giving yourself every tool necessary to get over any type of health thing that comes at you, that is just going to give you a fighting chance instead of going through that worry and the stress of, oh God, what happens if? Now, you're going to become a warrior for yourself, and you're going to become a fighter for yourself.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And so, we talked about variety for us. I want to kind of be clear for those who may be questioning, and I don't know if there's anybody who is, but, variety for dogs, buffalo, deer, rabbit, chicken, beef.
Yeah.
Mix it up. And, for me, I do vegetables. I do a little bit of vegetables, and I process it really small and cook it and the whole thing, but I do different types of vegetables.
Yeah.
And then they'll go out and get their own fur.
Yeah. And Leo got some blueberries this morning. I took about half a handful of blueberries and threw it in his bowl. And, that's all stuff that they can eat in moderation, and they take a look at it. And it's not like I feed him blueberries every day. Every once in a while, he just gets blueberries as if he was a scavenger and he came upon a bush of blueberries.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, mine do raspberries. They eat all my raspberries.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Why wouldn't they? So we want to thank you guys for being on the show. I'm sorry if we got a little bit preachy, but we're just really passionate about having your health be where it can be. And because at some level, you don't know how good you could feel. And at some point, you don't know how good your dog can feel as well.
Yeah,
and
so
have
true.
that excitement back and have all of those pieces back to where they can be. So definitely follow Nikki at Taste Life Nutrition. Just go over, hit the follow page. She's regularly putting content up, and she's really taking a look at all of these aspects of total health, not only for yourself, but for your dog as well. I'm a huge fan of Nikki's, and I definitely follow her. She puts out incredible content. And also follow us at Parsley Pet. We are always passionate about dog health and everything we can do to increase the nutrition of our pets, so we don't have to say goodbye too soon, and that they can live this long, healthy, incredible life.
It's so true. And I got to add to what you're saying, all of the things that we're talking about increasing immune system and nutrient density and all these things. We can do this, and we can do it very targeted by using Parsley Pet lab kits. And so I want to be very clear that ordering labs for your dogs through Parsley Pet, when it's looking at nutrients and it's looking at toxins, this is a way to truly understand your dog, what your dogs need, and how to strategically create their meals, so you're giving them what they need, or you can replete them and then you change it up. Because the body's dynamic. It's always going to change. So I just needed to put that out there because it's so important.
Yeah, we love it. And actually, keep your eye out for a post. We are testing a wolf that is at the Exotic Wolf Rescue in New Mexico. And we have a video of, her name is Ray, who is the handler for this wolf. And she's going to get us a hair sample. She's feeding this wolf raw, and she wants to know if it's right.
That's amazing. Woo! That's so cool.
It's cool. Like the video is cool. You see she has 2 wolves that just come running out of the woods at her. I'm like, I'd be terrified. I'd be like in a ball curled up, and the wolves would be like dinner. Yeah.
Amazing. Very cool.
So yeah, it's really cool stuff. So thank you guys so much. Thanks for being on the show. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
Eat really good foods, fruits,
Yes.
vegetables, and lean meats, and yes, give your body a chance to fight everything off.
Man, I'm telling you. Good job.
All right, cool. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Bye.
See you, everybody.